The Truckee River Basin encompasses an area of 3,060 square miles within the states of Nevada and California. The basin stretches north-northeast from Mice Meadow near Myers, California in the Sierra Nevadas toward the Smoke Creek Desert near Pyramid Lake. The towns of Myers, Truckee, Reno, Sparks, and the Pyramid Lake Paiute tribe all share a common watershed north of Carson City. Our storm drain systems are vast. Reno alone contains 9,396 catch basins, 419 miles of gutter, as well as 50 miles of natural drainage ditches. The excess rain and snow falling within this area drains into the Truckee River. Water is a precious resource in this high desert community. The Truckee River is critical to the livelihood of the towns within its watershed. Whether you are drinking a glass of water or enjoying the outdoors, the Truckee River makes it possible. So don't forget, when it rains, it drains.
Well, the whole issue with our gutter flow is that it carries stormwater that runs off the curbs, carries anything in its path into the inlet, into Alum Creek, or whatever your nearest water body is, and into the Truckee River. The Truckee River is our main source of drinking water in our town. So a lot of communities in the country have mixed sewer and storm drain systems that all goes to the treatment plant, not so in Reno. In Reno and Sparks, everything that runs off our outdoor surfaces goes right into the Truckee River without any treatment at all. So that's why we're here doing storm drain stenciling. We're hoping that by letting residents know, business owners know that this is where the water flows right into our drinking water without treatment, we can help to protect our high quality drinking water and protect the beneficial uses out there, which include native trout. We've got a world-class fishery, people coming in from all over the world to fish our river, and the Pyramid Lake Paiute tribe downstream, and the Lahontan cutthroat trout and kiwi, endangered and threatened fish. So the storm drain that can be really damaging to our river include fertilizers, nitrogen and phosphorus. The very things that make our lawns and other plants grow are the very things that grow algae in the water. When algae grows in the water and we have big blooms, it dies off eventually and it sucks all the oxygen out of the water. Lahontan cutthroat trout need about 6 to 7 parts per million of oxygen in water to live and thrive, and their young require even more oxygen. I know that's, you know, a concentration that's really hard to imagine, but the less algae, the healthier for the fish and for their insects and other macroinvertebrates out in the stream. So the other things that might rinse into the storm drain and be harmful are pesticides. Of course, if you're killing plants or insects on the land, you're going to do the same thing in the water. So anytime you are applying fertilizers or pesticides, you want to make sure you don't do it before a rainstorm. If you are applying fertilizers, you want to make sure you put a metered amount of water on. Hold the hose and make sure it doesn't run off. If you over-apply pesticide and you get grains out onto the hard surfaces, sweep them up or otherwise remove them so that they don't wash off in the next storm. Other things that, you know, we might not think about so much, car washing. If you can use a car wash instead of washing it at home, the car washes recycle water and they clean them as we go. So that's definitely better for the river. Other things you might not think about, your recycling bin as it's dripping in the rain. Cover up as much of your trash as you can. And always use your timers on your sprinklers so you don't have a bunch of runoff. We call runoff in the dry season urban slobber, and it's so bad because it's not diluted by other rain. So it's our low flow time of the year for the river, and that means whatever urban slobber is going into the storm drain system, into the creek and into the river is going to be more toxic than in the wet season. So it's all about just thinking downstream and realizing that even if you live up at the top of Collin Ranch or the top of Robb Drive, we're all drinking out of the Truckee River, so we all live downstream. And each person, with each contractor working on their property for landscape or doing construction, the owners are really responsible for what comes off of their property. So every single property can contribute, either in a good way or a bad way. So that's what we're really hoping these stencils are going to do, is ask people to think about what runs off their properties into the river.
Storm drains are a community's hydrologic connection to our streams and rivers. They carry excess water, be it from rain, snow, overwatering, or other sources into our stream systems. Public development, including homes, streets, driveways, and lawns, alter the way precipitation is handled by the environment. In nature, much of a storm's rainfall is absorbed and stored by the soil. Some of this stored moisture is used by plants, while some of it can also be slowly released out of the soil into streams as groundwater flow. When we cover this soil with asphalt, we seal away the amazing filtration properties of our natural environment. Precipitation can no longer penetrate the soil and is instead funneled into our storm drains and into the river, but not before it picks up many different types of pollutants along the way. Pervious concrete is a great option for parking lots and driveways. It is porous and allows stormwater to percolate through to the soil below. It helps mitigate the high storm drain flows associated with large storms. The cost is very comparable to traditional concrete, and the benefits to the watershed make it very worthwhile. Instead, we funnel all the water that falls on our streets, homes, and driveways into our streams very quickly, altering the hydrologic cycles of our streams. Peak stream flow after a storm is higher, and base flow during the dry season is lower due to the lack of a consistent source of groundwater. The lack of the soil's absorption means a higher chance of flooding, as soils are unable to buffer large precipitation events. There are water filtration systems available for storm drain systems. Simple, cost-effective options can separate floating pollutants, such as oil and trash, from the storm drain's exit pipe, keeping this pollution from entering the river. Tree box filters are another way to filter stormwater. Trees are planted at intervals in a section of concrete, with the concrete poured to funnel the stormwater to the tree where it enters the soil. Stormwater collection systems are also a great way to both lessen the burden on our river for water consumption and also lessen the amount of storm runoff from our roofs and parking lots. The collected stormwater can be used for gardening or even filtered and used inside our homes. We all need to remember that anything we put on outdoor surfaces will be washed into our watershed. We all have an opportunity to be a little more conscious of what enters our storm drains as it affects the health of our rivers and ourselves.